Hello. Welcome to Car Expert YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to get the newest update of car reviews. For 2016, Cadillac has turned its CTS-V from a performance sedan to a monster worthy of the carnage described above. The words epic and awesome are hilariously overused on the internet, but in the case of the CTS-V's 6.2-liter supercharged V8, their literal meanings are fitting. The capacity to produce 640 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque is astounding. Feeling those outputs come to growling life under my foot arch uncorks different reactions in my brain as the day wears on. First trepidation, next cautious optimism, finally red-eyed bloodlust. A glance at the power and torque curves will show you that the charged V8 behaves more like a naturally aspirated thing than a turboed on-off switch. Peak torque arrives at 3,600 revolutions per minute, horsepower at 6,400, giving the engine lovely, linear power delivery. Even with top torque happening near the middle of the tach, there's no small amount of the stuff when the engine first spins up, so launching all 4,145 pounds of Detroit iron still feels exotic. On the roads around Wisconsin, using all of the available power is hardly advisable, but I have no trouble driving this fast car slowly, sort of. Ignition of the rear rubber may always be just the length of my big toe away, but it's perfectly happy to rumble along past various cheese castles and jerky emporiums at 65 miles per hour, though that part is hard on my always hungry, video whiz co-pilot Chris McGraw. In fact, in day-to-day driving, the only compromise one will have to make is near constant sound of a potent supercharger doing its work. On the track, the high-pitched hum makes the Cadillac sound like a kind of earthbound tie interceptor while underway at a full go. When driving with less pace, that dentist drill is still audible, and not mellowed with a V8 bark. I predict you'll get used to it. But the two most critical parts of the facing interior are the steering wheel and the shift lever. The former for what it means to the immediate driving experience, and the latter for how it can facilitate while staying out of my damn way. Most CTS-V drivers will come away from steering the car with a sense of nonplussed indifference, I guess. My notes on steering from the first portion of the test say simply, unremarkable. But my sense for the rack changes at track speeds, where there's enough information still filtered, but available to provide useful information about grip. Pronouncement about the 8 automatic transmission, there's no manual to be had, is almost the opposite. In traffic and on the street, I find myself playing with the responsive paddle shifters just for the hell of it, listening to that big motor spin up whenever possible. The paddles still work smoothly when the pace gets super legal at Road America, but I find that the sportiest version of the auto shift logic is well suited to sort things out for itself. The paddles are fun on the track, but I'm the slower when I use them. The market at large says this should probably be an all-wheel drive car. But Cadillac is not only sticking to its performance car heritage, it has worked like hell to make the rear drive-only CTS-V stick to the ground and pull hard out of corners. The car I'm tracking has the optional carbon fiber package, which optimizes the balance of lift and drag to ultimately pin the sedan firmly to the pavement. It also reduces the car's impressive 200 mph top speed by a few clicks. Even on my most strident laps, chugging all out up the hill and down the start-finish straight, I never see more than 155 mph before I call on the Brambos to haul me back down. So you'll forgive me if I'm willing to give up $200 for a settled rear end. Take the previously cited competitive set from Audi, BMW, and Mercedes for example, the CTS-V has a clear power advantage over all of them. The M5 gives up 80 horsepower and 130 pounds-to-foot, the RS7 80 horsepower and 113 pounds-to-foot, and the E63 by an appropriate 63 horsepower and 40 pounds-to-foot. The Cadillac is the lightest of the bunch, undercutting by anywhere from 130 to 330 pounds, and only the all-wheel drive Mercedes is quicker to 60, by 0.2 of a second. I still owe a few thank you cards to the journalists that didn't show up to Road America that morning. I lost count of the number of laps I turned, but I can say that I was on track more than off for nearly 4 hours. I had to pit in for gas on a couple of occasions, and to dump SD cards on others. I finally walked off tired, sweaty, ready for a good beer, and happier than hell. It was a fine afternoon, and I'm a lucky man. Cadillac CTS-V's squad of engineers seem more good than lucky. They've screwed together a rocket ship sedan that ought to make big gains in its posh segment. All things being equal, they aren't, but it's nice thought. The CTS-V deserves to sell on better numbers than never before. Just scrape the bugs off.